Hello, I'm Ninja Greg, and you're watching the Ninja Greg Show. I want to apologize a little bit because I have a bit of a sore throat, so if I sound hoarse, that's why, so I do apologize for that. Anyways, let's get on to the review. This is a review of Captain America Civil War. The synopsis: I'll take the crappy Civil War comics and adapt them to film. With his brand new Avengers team, Captain America goes on mission to Africa to stop supervillain Crossbones and his team of baddies from stealing some biological weapon. The Avengers succeed, and during a fight with Crossbones, he tries to suicide bomb himself, but Scarlet Witch uses her magic to try and lift him into the air where he'll detonate safely, not do any harm. But unfortunately, she's still kind of new to this superhero stuff, and she gets a little too close to a hospital, and that's unfortunately where Crossbones detonates and kills several people, which causes the government, all governments of the world basically, kind of decide to step in and present the Avengers with what's known as the Sokovian Accords, which basically say either register yourself with the government, work for the government, be held accountable by the government, or you don't do superhero business. Period. In addition to the positives and negatives, I'm also going to be comparing and contrasting the movie to the comic, or at least what I know about the comics, because I never actually read the Civil War comics, but like I said, they're not very good anyways. In the comic, a teenage group of superheroes called the New Warriors, who are also a reality show, are on a mission where they have an encounter with a villain called Nitro, who, like his name suggests, can blow himself up. But he usually reforms after doing so. But this time he makes a huge explosion which kills several people, including some kids. And this catapults the Superhuman Registration Act into being passed as law. What is it? Essentially, it's the same thing as the Sokovian Accords, only all the superheroes have to be part of a government-sanctioned superhero team, which, spoilers, actually does happen with the 50-state initiative sometime after the events of the Civil War. Heroes who fail to sign up and register themselves, they're considered fugitives from the law, and they send other superheroes to arrest them. And like I said, this comic isn't very good. It's got a number of problems. It wasn't handled well. You had different comics translating the Superhuman Registration Act differently because none of the writers knew exactly what it was. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about it because, like I said, I haven't read it. If you want more detail, I encourage you to check out the Atop the Fourth Wall Top 15 Things Wrong with Civil War. In both versions, however, the respective government mandates do cause a division in the superhero community. You got Iron Man on the pro-registration side, Captain America on the anti-registration side, and that's where the titular Civil War comes from. But in the comics, obviously the superhero community is much bigger, so both sides had veritable armies backing them, and it really did feel more like a war. Whereas with this movie, the superhero community is smaller, basically contained to just the Avengers and a few independent guys scattered about. So it really more feels like a difference of opinion rather than just, a full-out war. And in the comic, the pro-registration side was completely vilified. They were seen as the bad guys, and, spoiler alert, They were supposed to be the right side all along. No middle ground. There was no middle ground either. The pro side was right. That's it. No ifs, ands, or buts. They were right. The movie handled this same situation so much better. No side was vilified. You saw the pros and cons of both sides. It was more like a debate of security versus freedom. At what point does government intervention become government interference? What if by working for the government you completely sacrifice your freedom? What if they say, go deal with this threat that we say is a big threat because we're the government and we say so, when you feel that there's something else that's more urgent that needs your attention, but the government's trying to bend your judgment, your moral view, and how you view of right and wrong to their way. On the other hand, with the unavoidable destruction and property damage and endangering the lives of innocents, some accountability does need to be taken. So it's like, where do you draw the line? Can you even draw a line? I mean, are we right? Are they right? Are we wrong? Are they wrong? This movie did a really good job of kind of highlighting both the positives and the turmoil caused by this situation. Perhaps turmoil is not the best word, but maybe potential problems instead. So it's like, okay, well, do we give up part of our freedom and go after the bad guys that the government say are the bad guys? Or are they going to have us go after legit problems? I don't know. But if you don't hold yourselves in check, if you don't own up to what you do, if you're allowed to just do whatever you want without any limitations or restrictions, then yeah, that could cause problems if superpowered individuals are just left to their own devices to do whatever they want. And we generally tend to call those people supervillains. You know, supervillains do what they want, superheroes do what's right, but usually they do what's right on their own accord. And more often than not, you see that their own better judgment is the best kind of judgment that they can go for. Okay, I think I'm hanging on this issue a little too long, but that's the whole point of the movie. It's this registration and security versus freedom and non-registration. And I love how, by saying both sides of this argument, Cap was not made the antagonist of his own movie. Plus, I like that we got a little bit more stuff with Winter Soldier. We had the introduction of the Black Panther, which was brilliantly mixed in with the plot of the movie without feeling out like it was completely shoehorned in. And we also had the introduction of Helmut Zemo, the son of Heinrich Zemo, and the second Baron Zemo, a leader of Hydra, and a team of supervillains called the Masters of Evil. And both Zemos, Junior and Senior, are long-standing enemies of Captain America. So having Helmut Zemo in this was really fitting. And of course, there's plenty of action. And the airport scene was the best. I'll get back to that in just a little bit. But yeah, there was not a dull moment in this movie. Whether it was the stuff in Africa was good, the stuff in Vienna was good, and like I said, the airport stuff was the best. And I like this new version of Spider-Man. And even though he was hyped initially, again, his introduction the way the movie did it, it felt kind of natural. It didn't feel like they shoehorned him in because it'd be cool or something. I mean, we actually see Tony Stark go get him, and he doesn't do it off screen. We actually see the scene where he goes and gets him to join up with his side. It's not like Spider-Man just shows up out of nowhere and he says to Cap, "Oh yeah, by the way, I found this guy fighting crime in Queens. I thought it'd be useful." No, they handled that. They handle bringing Spider-Man in pretty good, I feel. And Giant Man was a delightful surprise to both myself and the movie-going audience I was a part of when I saw this. This movie also had a good balance. Good humor when it needed to be funny, fast-paced action when there was, well, action going on, but it also took its time to slow down every once in a while, let the audience breathe, and get those emotional moments out when they need to happen. You know, there's a time for everything. There's a time to be funny, a time to be action-packed, and a time to slow down and be serious. And this movie does it very well. I think this is the best entry in the MCU to date, which, if you don't know what that is, it's a Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. Yeah, pretty easy to put together. Any negatives? Well, a few, and they're more nitpicks, really. Nothing too major. But there were times when this felt more like Avengers 2.5 instead of a Captain America movie, but this was a Captain America movie from start to finish. It's his story, it's his debate, him fighting for and against his friends. So yeah, this was definitely a Cap film as much as it was Avengers 2.5. Marissa Tomei would not have been my first choice to play a new version of Aunt May, mostly because I really like Sally Fields from the Amazing Spider-Man movies. But whatever, I'm not part of the creative team. I got no say in who plays who, so nothing I can do about that, but what are you going to do? And unfortunately, it is getting harder and harder to just jump into these MCU movies without getting caught up on the rest of them. Even so, I do really recommend this one. It's really solid, man. Like I said, easily, in my opinion, the best one in the Marvel Cinematic Universe so far. So what do you think of Civil War? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know down in the comments what you thought. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Ninja Greg. You've been watching the Ninja Greg Show. I'll see you next time.